Welcome to Turn Extension, a supplemental podcast for the Advanced Maneuvers YouTube channel.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Turn Extension. My name is Tony, or Polar Bear Cub on the forums.
This is Gaston.
And this is Justin.
So, we're really lucky to have Justin back. Devin will be joining us in just a minute or two. I think Kevin might be out again this week. He might jump on, we'll see. But we figured, you know what, we have CID Week 2 going on, and might as well have two of the individuals that I know play Menoth. Well, one of them not so much anymore, but at least with Justin playing Menoth pretty frequently.
Much more importantly, I've spent this entire time Googling Mountain Dew slogans from the 1960s.
I think it's very effective of our time being in CID today.
Well, it's his last name. I can't not.
That's true. That is true. If you have noticed, we have been, I don't know if you've noticed the titles lately, Justin, but every time you're on, we're trying to,
I have.
you know, we figure at some point you might get annoyed with it, but that hasn't stopped us yet.
Just tell me, Justin, do you ever get that barefoot feeling drinking Mountain Dew?
Like growing up, I just drank a lot of Mountain Dew just because.
Yes!
That's amazing.
Oh, God, that was from 1969. It has aged every bit as well as I'd hoped.
All right, so, getting back a little on topic. So, about yesterday, actually, I believe, it was either yesterday or Tuesday, then the second week update dropped. I did not even get a chance to listen to the dev talk, unfortunately. That happened yesterday, but it sounds
I'm
like...
back.
Oh, hey, Devin's back.
That was a lot less epic of an entrance than I had expected.
Yeah, that was significantly less.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, you guys!
Anyways, Justin, so did you end up playing anything from either the Week 1 or Week 2 CID updates?
I did, actually. I've been playing a Krios 2 list that I think is a lot of fun. I'm still toying around with the battle group and, the units that I'm trying to decide to take with him. Specifically, I'm testing out the Purifiers, and they are working really, really well with Krios 2, especially with him getting battle charged and Sacrocyte getting changed around and him getting tough and Paragon of Faith as well. So, yeah, the list that I ran last night was 6 Purifiers with him, Gravis, Mechanic, Rack, the Warder, Elias, Minquire, Rovan and Co., and 3 units of Knights Exemplars. But I think after playing a couple of games with that, I'm changing it down to 4 Purifiers and adding in a full unit of Knights Exemplar Exemplar Errants and the Officer, and then still kind of debating how badly I need Tactician in this list, whether or not the free solo becomes a Knights Exemplar UA. But I think the Purifier is actually very, very good as Light Jack to get rid of a lot of the things in the game right now that are like the medium-based infantry that you want to kind of target in the game. It has Blessed in the Steam Force, it has a chain weapon, and it has Overtake. And so it does a lot of work.
So what are your thoughts on it versus the new caster then? Do you think that Krios 2 is just blatantly overshadowing her now that he's gotten these updates?
I wouldn't say blatantly overshadowing her, but he definitely is more appealing to me than in this Week 2 update. I think Battle Charge is very, very interesting because I think the only other caster that has a 14-inch control area with Battle Charge is Venothrax.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else is like 5 or 6, like Focus or Fury. So it's a pretty wide spread.
Axis has it.
Wait, sorry, yeah, Battle Charge. Yeah, my fault. I probably should have known that. Yeah, Axis has it as well. And
Okay.
we get 14-inch control area as well.
That's the galvanizer spam.
It's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, you'll be familiar with how like effective that like large control area is, and Castigate and Sacrosanct now changed to like self and like within his command. I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome. So when you end up playing your game, did you post the feedback on the CID forums?
I have not. I have not posted the feedback.
Come on.
No one actually cares about the feedback.
Is that because you're worried that they're going to see your feedback and then go, we need to nerf this shit?
No, I don't think that list that I played, it was a lot of fun. I don't think it's like tier 1 competitive as it is right now. But I think it's a pretty decent like steamroller like list that you can take to, a local tournament or anything like that if you're interested in playing it. I don't think it particularly asks a question that is like egregious in any manner. I think it's just a interesting list that you're going to see from Menoth, like having countercharging lights, Ashen Veil spreading around, and just following up with Knights Exemplars.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why are you even bothering with the Knights?
Why am I bothering with the Knights?
Why are you bothering with the Knights?
As opposed to what? As opposed to, say, like, the Incinerators or the Bastions? Or
more
Jacks?
Jacks? Why are you bothering with infantry?
Because I still think, like, Sacrosanct and Paragon of Faith is pretty nice, especially with Gravis.
I mean, I think the changes to Sacrosanct are okay, but when I look at what Krios brings versus what I'm going to bring into him, all I see those little bodies running around are look, that's shit I can shoot.
Do you think that let's just go with that for a second. So you take 1 to upkeep Battle Charge, and then you generally probably want to cast Castigate. Obviously, there's matchups where you won't, right? And then you just allocate focus. So, like, what are you looking at for a battle group, I guess?
So the last time I had run him was actually in Mark II because he's the world's literally most boring caster.
Right?
Like he really is. And what I had keyed on is that, at least back then, Sacrosanct was the only thing he had that actually affected any infantry. Mm-hmm. And back then it was an upkeep that you put on a unit, and it did more or less the same thing that that's happening now. So it's a little bit better. And he didn't have tough, and he did not have battle charged. But when you look at this feat, you have this additional melee attack, and what it does is it ramps up the damage potential of your Warjacks more than anything else, I think. And so what ended up happening is I put it in the Adjudicator for Inviolable Resolve, but also for Sacrosanct I had a unit of Zealots, so you knock down some stuff and the Adjudicator can actually hit, Hallelujah. It takes some prayers to Menoth to make that guy hit. But then I had also started putting in things like Avatar, Templar on Tristan Durant, so that's why you have an Armor 21 Judicator, you have an Armor 21 Avatar, you have an Armor 23 Templar. And then you start ramping up those guys. Now you start hitting with those models with his feet. And what I found, and my mathematical belief is, when you're doing modeling damage in this game, is that once you get to a certain POW, it's not about stacking POW anymore, it's about stacking number of attacks. Because that's where you start getting this payoff and returns. So now when you start reaching through this guy, let's say if you do want to keep running him an Exemplar theme to get the Blessed on your Jacks, well, now you need to start taking in these Reclaimer horse solos, and then you start putting these guys onto Jack Marshals for Crusher. And so now you have, your Dervish or Purifier, for example, is POW 13, POW 15 with Acquire, POW 17 with Crusher, and then you're getting, 2 initial attacks, 3 bought attacks, another feed attack, so that's 6 attacks right there at POW 17. It's 5 damage, that's 30 damage right there off of your little Armor 19 into that's 30 damage off your 8-point guy into Armor 19 model. And then if you want to start stacking on this ridiculous flank, then it goes even crazier with, now they're all Weapon Master POW 17s. So now you're looking at, 8 damage per attack? What's 8 times 6? I'm bad at math. No, I'm sorry, it's 8 times 7. So that's 56 damage on a single armor 19 model from an 8-point model. But if you start like, let's say, look at Judicator. Judicator is what, POW 23? So Judicator can max out at 6 attacks. So, that's dice plus 4 on an armor 19 model. And these are blessed, so they'll ignore a lot of, buffs. So that's, 11 damage, 6 attacks. That's 66 damage on an armor 19 model from a Judicator. Like, you're not necessarily going to get that output from your Exemplars because you're losing your charge dice on that extra attack, and they're starting at such a low power, you can actually kind of armor through that to a certain extent. So I come at Krios from a very different direction. And part of that is just from Mark II, where I wanted to make him interesting, and he's boring as shit to just run your stuff up. They get shot up, and then you run them again, and they get shut up again, and then you get in there and you feed and you hope for the best. That is the most awful game plan in the world.
I actually really like that, though. The more you're talking about it, I can see using Templars. Like you said, the Judicator is a really strong piece too for viable resolve. But I actually really like that. I'm probably going to try that out, actually.
No one likes an armor 21 Judicator with 60 health. Oh, I forgot that it's got Signs of Importance now.
Yeah.
So that's what, a statistic plus 2, so that's 66 damage, goes up another 12 points. So is that 78 damage?
Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's walking, that's not charging.
I mean, if we don't care about Paragon of Faith, right, then really... Because the only real reason you're playing him in Exemplar theme is for the Blessed Weapons and for Paragon of Faith. And if those two things you can offset with, say, something like Hand of Vengeance from, Faithful Masses, I think that's probably a better, theme for him. Or even if we are actually going this Jack Heavy, why not just play him in Creator's Might?
I'd say the one thing is you need to make sure you have a way of Soul Collection or Extra Focus in order to balance out running heavy enough battle group. Well, that being said, I mean, if you're upkeeping Battle Charged, you probably maybe Castigate, maybe not Castigate. He's got, two upkeeps? If you're running Jack Heavy with 2 upkeeps, that's 4. You can allocate probably enough to get work out of it. And then the other thing that kind of, I think, feeds into the Jack Heavy is Tough is awesome. Everyone loves Tough. But, they're all single wound models. They don't stay. It's at least, Justin and I have played, the Testament where, they all revive. And in my list, at least, that's specifically designed to go into Testament, they don't stick around. And
right.
We've done Harbinger, and then at least in a list specifically designed to go into that, they don't stick around because of all the continuous effects that you can layer on there. Right. So I think having that anchor piece is also very important, which is why, I was talking to Paradox a while ago, and I was saying, take Adjudicator with Vindictus because you need that anchor piece. And Defender's Ward on Adjudicator is going to be nice and silly.
Yeah, I mean, all the changes to the Adjudicator so far have been freaking amazing. So, I don't actually the other Menoth players listening to this will probably shame me, but I don't own Adjudicator.
What?
Yeah, I don't own Adjudicator.
Shame.
Or a Revelator.
I am.
So not only do I
surprised.
own Adjudicator, I own 2 Adjudicators.
I'm actually really surprised you don't own an Adjudicator. Was it just because of his stats beforehand, or what?
Yeah, I started playing Menoth in Mark III.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah, and like I said, I found my home in Menoth, but, there was really very little compelling reason for me to play an Adjudicator in Mark III so far.
Don't worry, it was the same way in Mark II.
Well, Fura 2 was always good with them.
Yeah, what I ended up doing in Mark II with the Adjudicators is Durst with 2 of them. And then they took away Ancillary Attack from the Vassals, and so it's still good, but it's not as good. But, I don't know, putting up what they've done now, it might be back to being worth trying again. Because Durst with double Adjudicators was fucking stupid.
Good talk. Makes me very sad.
Aww.
Aw.
But, come on, you've already outlasted my Fiora 3 POW 27 Judicator talk.
Dude, that was awful.
I believe everything that has 2 Judicators is just fucking awful.
I mean, awful in the sense of easy to beat, probably.
Not now, especially
Maybe.
now that they have Signs of Importance. That's pretty powerful.
I think I was trying to build a list with Flamebringers to clear them off originally. That was pre-themed, though. I'm old. I've been playing this game too long.
You haven't played Menoth, I think. I don't think you played Menoth at all in Mark III, have you?
We have video evidence to the contrary.
Yeah,
Oh.
he played against me with Resnick 2 and handed me my ass.
Oh, yeah,
God,
yeah.
you loved that game so much.
Man, that game was not fun.
You're like, how many different ways can I park Resnick in the middle of a troll brick and not get charged?
Man, I kept
It
coming
turns out a
close,
lot.
though.
Yeah, you kept coming close.
So,
I kept coming real close.
Thank God for pre-measuring.
all right, so let me ask you guys this, all right, especially with Justin and Herman. So you guys have seen 2 weeks worth of rules out. Do you think what type of more tweaking do you think needs to happen? Do you think anything is too overpowered or maybe not played enough currently with the rules that we have out now?
Flank Jack Marshall.
What about the flank Jack Marshall? Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
You can get a 7-point dervish up to, pound 19 Weapon Master with 6 attacks. If you use Sirenia, you know what? I take that. You can get him up to pound 20 because you can take Sevi 0. So 7 points, 6 attacks, pound 20.
Walk me through this again, because you told me about this yesterday, and I was like, sure, all right.
Okay, so going back here. So you have your dervish. He's base POW 13.
Okay.
Then you take him with Choirs up to 15. And then you take him with the Crushers up to 17. And then the Positive Charge is up to 19. And then an Eye of Menoth is 20. And then the Jack Marshall Drive makes him a Weapon Master with Flank. And then you can load him up with Souls, so he gets his 3 Focus. And Crusher is an additional attack, so you get 6 POW 20 Weapon Master attacks. If you have to charge, it goes down to 5. It's very sad.
Oh God.
Oh no, so sad because one of them is still a freaking 4 dice damage.
If it helps at all, he's base mat 7, but Positive Charge will make him mat 9, and Flank will make him mat 11. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay.
It's only 7 points, dude.
Oh my god. And all Jack Marshals can take 2 Warjacks now, can't they?
I've never felt the need to take more than 1, but maybe.
But it's a potential. You could possibly have 2 power 20 dervishes.
Yeah, no.
Assuming your dervishes are close enough for the positive charge.
I mean, there's positioning things. You got to get the flank off. You have to actually make bastions work, which Lord knows how the Exemplar chick is going to make bastions work. Or you can just take it off, not with her, and settle for a POW 18 Weapon Master with Harbinger.
Jesus.
Or, I mean, if you take it with Krios and you're, a POW 18 Weapon Master and he has additional attack, so now you can charge and get 6 attacks, or you can just walk and get 7 attacks at that.
So then what do you think...
But then they auto-hit, too. That's fun.
So what do you think is the fix for it, then?
Just give him back his old drive. His old drive was awesome.
Which was his old drive?
No crippled systems.
So you think it's solely because he gets Weapon Master as his drive, that's why it's broken?
It certainly ramps up the power of it significantly.
It does.
I wouldn't say it's broken, because you're spending 7 points. That's not part of your battle group points. That's not going to go toward any theme benefit for a It's going to go and charge it threats 9 and then 2 sidesteps potentially, right?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. It's
I mean, you have 15 points to play with that don't count towards your free points. Mm-hmm. That's the way I generally look at themes. Mm-hmm. I'm so if I can fit it in 15 points, then I'll definitely explore the option.
Which for me is, so looking at it, let's say you charge, does the dervishes have reach as well?
1 inch.
Just 1 inch.
Okay, so 1 inch. So you could potentially be killing... almost an entire unit? Oh yeah, a Colossal. Or an entire unit of my... I guess, you would charge at a Colossal. That's a lot of damage going to a Colossal. For a 7-point jump.
Well, I mean, you figure a Colossal is usually arm 19, and the most health that they have is 60. So if he's rolling in a POW 20 Weapon Master, 6 attacks, it's 10 damage per swing.
Jesus.
60 damage. So, I mean, the other thing is you can just keep them behind your bastions, They're going to have to commit something big to them, and then you just welcome in. It's what makes it, I think, broken is the trade-up value. Because even though you're committing resources to this, the resources you're committing is a spell off your caster that can affect other things. Because you don't have to positive charge a Jack. You can positive charge, or nope, I'm sorry, you have to positive charge a Warjack. So, but the Warjack is going to affect the Bastions, so you're going to be farming out positive charge anyway. Your Bastions are going to be doing work anyway. Really, the only thing you're investing in is the Reclaimer solo in order to feed the souls onto it. But the Reclaimer solo can feed souls onto any of the Warjacks, and he has a flamethrower, and he can boost and buy attacks and do nonsense.
Now, is that the can the Reclaimer on a horse? He can hand out souls, correct?
Yeah, he hands out souls. I want to double check that because I think they changed it so he can only do it once a turn.
Okay. It's really ambiguous. I'm not entirely sure. Because he can spend a soul token any time to give one friendly model one focus point. And then it says it can spend soul tokens for the following.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's capped at 1 or not. It kind of reads it's capped at 1, but every time I've smacked them around for ambiguous wording like Jaga Jaga, they haven't listened, and we now have 13,000 questions on the rules forums about Jaga Jaga's feet. So So I mean, it could be that you end up with a Sanctifier, or you just run it in a theme that can take the vassals. Exemplar can't take vassals, right?
I'm pretty sure every theme can take vassals, actually.
Oh, okay. Then you can load it up with you can get up to full.
Double checking right now. Yeah, you can.
So, yeah, there you go. I mean, is it worth it to you to have the vassal supporting your jacks to free up your caster? Is it worth it to you having the soul collection? Is it worth it to you to have the ability to trade a 7-point light jack for a colossal? Those are the questions that you need to answer when you're building your list, and hopefully you build your list in a cohesive way with a cohesive strategy.
Makes sense.
Hopefully. I've seen a lot of things that make me doubt that.
Yeah. All right, what about you, Devin? Not Devin, sorry. What about you, Justin? What do you think? You think is there anything that just screams out overpowered or not powered well enough?
I still don't think they should give Harvey 12-inch command, but I'm not going to complain about it. I'm interested because I still haven't really played around with the Incinerators and the Bastions, the changes to them. I've heard a lot of people that I talk to really, really like these changes and think that they are now competitive. That's, I think, still, in my mind, up for debate. I think that they're still just a little bit too overcosted, and that sounds crazy, but I just don't they just don't go into shooting well at all. And there's
what unit is this? What unit is this?
Both the Incinerators and the Bastions. More specifically, the Bastions, because I think the Incinerators can survive small arms fire, but I don't think the Bastions can, and not at armor 16.
The Incinerators are ridiculously aggressively costed.
Yeah.
13 points for a max unit is ridiculously aggressively costed.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on.
Are you okay?
Come on. Fess up.
I mean, what do they do when they get there? They have 5 attacks, 6 attacks total, right?
With vengeance. And they exist.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're bad because I don't disagree that I think they're competitively playable. I just don't know.
What do champions do when they get there? They only have 10 attacks with Weapon Master.
I mean, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
But champions have a better stat line than these guys.
There's some debate on that one. I'll debate you on that one.
I do think these guys actually kill champions like easy peasy because they have the takedown now. Incinerators. So there's no tough, and they're going to be hitting pretty like at reach, which means the champions can't retaliatory strike back with the champ hero. So they're going to alpha into them.
But they would still have the Sanguine Bond, correct?
Yeah, they can Sanguine Bond off the damage, absolutely. But you're getting hit by
Incinerators versus Bastions on that one. Bastions have the Sanguine Bond, not the Incinerators.
Oh yeah. Bastions
champs.
Yeah, he's wondering whether or not the takedown gets around Sanguine Bond now.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
Yeah, you can still Sanguine Bond all the way out and then tough that model, I guess, because he's not being destroyed by that attack.
Sounds solid.
What's the POW on the champions, Devin?
11.
So they're 12 Weapon Master, basically?
Basically.
So if you shield wall and jam them, then you're 21, they're 12 Weapon Master. They're doing approximately a point per swing. After you use the Stone Aura of +1 strength. And then if you Death Ward these guys as well, or Invulnerable Resolve, then the champions can't, on average, damage them. So I think the big thing for them is defensive formation was what I had actually suggested, not on the CID forum, so I don't get to take credit. But behind their backs, I was saying that, and I think it's on the money exactly what the Incinerators.
That gets them pretty fast up the board, right?
I believe so, yes.
I'll take that making a margarita in the background to be agreement.
I'm curious, Herman, do you think the Bastions are powerful enough, with defensive line and defensive strike now?
Well, I think the trick with them is going to be matchup selection, because they are very, very, very soft against shooting. Mm-hmm. Very soft. So if you have to have a game plan in order to protect them from shooting. That game plan can be Vindictus's Feet. That game plan can be a shit ton of shield guards. Mm-hmm. I guess it could be Harbinger. Mm-hmm. So, and it's going to, I think they are much more matchup dependent. I think the Incinerators are probably more reliable. But if you're in it for the long haul to grind, then yeah, I could see the Bastions, particularly who can heal in Protectorates. You have the Officer heals, you have the Hierophant can heal, Tristan. So if you take the Bastions, you take Tristan, and then you take the Structure, that thing can poop out 3 Bastions a turn. And then he heals them each D3, and then they heal another 1 from the UA, and then they still get their defensive strikes.
Yep, and you can also even throw in a Vessel if you want even more healing.
Yeah, that's true. So actually, I think you got to build them. Again, build with a strategy. Don't just randomly throw shit at the wall. This isn't Jackson Pollock plays Protectorate. But I think if you build them with a strategy, yeah.
Now listen, that's an abstract list.
Sorry, I didn't catch any of that.
I said that's an abstract list.
Funny.
And I guess I had a follow-up question too, I guess. So the Bastions are costed now 1 point more than Knights Exemplar with a UA. You gain more boxes out of this, but you lose 2 models, potentially. Is this something that you would think would be okay to sub into Testament if you can find the points? Is this a good unit to recur if you can recur it pretty consistently? Same thing with the Incinerators, I guess.
That's a really tough question, because on one hand, I really don't feel like I have any problems mowing through Knights Exemplar. They're just single wound, which is their biggest weakness. Mm-hmm. Bastions get mowed down by essentially the same thing, so I think it comes back to healing. I think if you have enough healing to support the recursion, then it works. I think if you don't have enough healing to support the recursion, then it won't work, and it'll be better to do single wound.
How do you handle Finn in all of this?
I don't know what that is.
Well, you defensive strike him every single time he moves, so he'll die sooner or later.
Oh, is that little annoying dude
from Signar? Yeah.
Yeah.
How many guys of yours did he kill, Justin? 18?
He killed 16. And also this way I can sanguine bond it, so like he won't kill all of them.
You say
we say Finn
I
is
guess
solved.
not.
Finn is solved.
Yep. Finn is
And
dead.
I mean, the other thing is their defensive strike is beefy.
Yes, it is. That's what I was thinking about when I was thinking about like playing them with Testament, is because, I mean, there's a lot of times where I bring back like a Knight's Exemplar Seneschal and he kind of just walks up and dies again, but like you're playing that little mini game anyways with Testament, right? But at least these guys, if I bring them back, they walk up, you come into them again, they're gonna hit back.
Does what is it? Hand of Fate, is that an upkeep?
That's on High Reclaimer, but yes, it is an upkeep.
So he makes the pseudo cloud wall, so they'll jump up to defense 15, Hand of Fate, defensive strike. And then they're not getting shot either.
Yeah, I guess with that. I mean, Testament does have Cloak of Ash, so they are defense 15 with Testament.
It doesn't block line of sight though.
You're
I was talking about in melee, because they get defensive line against melee, and then you get the -2 from Burning Ash. And then they're not getting shot because you're denying line of sight, and then their defensive strikes are going to be Hand of Fate.
But I can only bring them that once.
That's true. That's a very
you
valid
bring
argument.
you bring the stupid structure.
Oh, is that structure gonna? I have, like, that structure is so good with High Reclaimer 1. That's also like one thing that people have been talking about. Like that Hand of Fated just houses down Haley 3.
Yep. Yes,
So maybe
does.
we'll start seeing less Haley 3 then once if that comes out, if it stays the same.
Anything that lets me see less Haley 3 is a good thing. God,
Nice.
It's like, she's beatable. She's just the most aggravating thing in the world to play against. Like, you sit down and you're just like, you and I are just not going to have a fun game today.
Man,
and you're talking to your
you
opponent
should-
and they're like, it's okay, it's the third time I've dropped her today and it hasn't been fun all day, but, you know, Haley 3. Ta-da!
You should see her in some rubble.
I'm not even upset. I went into there knowing that I got dropped into that red matchup for the team event. I was like, you know what? Let's see how many things he can kill. Let's see. Like, I want to break this record of like 40. I think previously it was 34 focus on.
I was so pissed. That was my record.
It was not your record.
Not anymore.
Clearly not. Well, looks like Devin was done with this conversation.
Oh well. You'll make his margaritas.
Yeah, he's gonna have those margaritas. They're gonna be delicious. Oh, he's back.
See, what else is on here that's worth talking about? Avengers, Armor 18, check. Very good.
I like that they still have the Lance rule. I'm pro Lance
Hey, go fuck yourself, Signal
Right,
player.
like how many signatures do we need to get on a petition just to make it so they're swords? I don't care if they keep them at half inch, but just give the swords on these guys and the errants magical. Like, is that too much to ask?
rule. Apparently it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Way too much to ask.
Like, why is the lance magical? Why is the crossbow magical, but not the sword?
I believe it was the Great Holy Water shortage of 458 AR, if you read the fluff, good sir.
Is that actually a thing?
No, it's not.
No.
God, I wish.
Because okay, hold on. If it was actually a thing, I would have been. You know what? Bravo! I will. You know what? I don't need magical weapons on these guys.
Then
I
you know
will
what?
take that.
Then you know what? It is a thing. Let's make it a thing. We're making it a thing.
I wish I could take back my honesty right now.
Nope.
I'm going to write CCAT and have him canonize it.
Yeah.
It's got to be that exact year, too.
Yeah, it has to be. There's the great water shortage.
Now, let's call it the holy water drought.
Ooh. Alright, anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up?
I think overall I've been pretty happy with it.
Herman, I was going to ask you, Herman, because I know we talked about a little bit of this before the cast started, but, like, sell me on Cyrena. Like, obviously, you've already done the whole, like, POW 20 Weapon Master Dervish, but, you know, how would you build her right now? Because I think she's lacking. I don't, like, there's nothing exciting about her. Like, like I said on the cast last week, I think she's like a Khador caster in Menoth, and I don't want a Khador caster in Menoth.
So I would just like to call you out, first of all, for saying you don't think she's interesting after playing Krios 2.
I mean,
you're already compromised.
I'm not compromised. Battle Charge is one of the most interactive spells in this game. Like, otherwise, I'm literally sitting back on my opponent's turn, and he's rolling dice, and I'm nodding my head and marking damage.
I will say that helps a lot. I'm like a big fan of micro movement abilities like Battle Charge, so I actually really like that. So the thing is, when you're looking at Cyrena, if you're looking at Cirrus, and you have to ask yourself a question: how much do you care about Heroic Call, and how much do you care about Special Orders? Because no one's fucking caring about Desperate Mission. Let's just be honest here. No one cares about that one. No one cares about it on the ret. I bet you can't even name the ret model that it's on. And you guys are only lucky that I even know it's on a ret model because I play that faction.
Wait, is it on the character Dragoon?
No.
God damn it! I was so hoping it was.
You got really close though. You got really close.
I was just looking, and Bearcat, he can get up to a 12-inch battle charge.
12-inch battle charge?
That's not 14 inches, so get the fuck out.
Yeah, sorry. There's a cutoff. You have to be at least this battle charged to get on the ride.
Yeah.
All right, so we're getting rid of. Back to Cyrus, who we care about. So
her first name's Danon.
Are you serious?
Like, I'll drop some lore nerd on you, lore cred on you. Like, her first name's Danon.
Danon.
Okay, so we're gonna start calling her Blythe. Hit you back with some lore fucking cred, dick.
Why don't we just call her Yogurt?
Because her porno's name is Bull. Anyways, so you have to ask yourself, how much do you care about Heroic Call and Special Orders? Like, seriously, how much do you care? Tell me. It's not rhetorical.
Heroic Call and Special Order. Not at all. Not at all.
Exactly. So stop taking her as an exemplar caster. Hey, I have a feat that gives my friendly faction models +2 defense. I'm going to put it in the list that has the worst fucking defense in the faction.
But then you can't have your POW 20 Weapon Master Dervish.
I can accept that.
You need
because
them.
One, I just said that it needed to be nerfed, so you can sit on it. And two, like, you want interesting, right? Take her in freaking Temple Flame Guard. Freaking, they've got defense 13. They've got set defense. You give them +2 defense. They're going to be defense 17 on the charges. You can drop down an invulnerable resolve, which makes them 13, 14, 19 on their mini feat. Dash on Flamebringers. Dash on the little girls with the knives, whatever they're called, Children of the Daughters.
Daughters of the Flame?
Yeah. Those ones. There you go. Rockwall on Flamebringers. Positive charge on Flamebringers.
Is this better than Thyra? No, right?
It's more consistent than Thyra.
Is it?
Thyra, you get the...
You need a Bullet of Jack to have positive charge, right? But Thyra can just apply Carnage and get the fuck out at the end of the turn anyways, and then she can upkeep Silence of Death.
Well, the thing is that she has Dash, so that replicates Thyra's feat every other turn, which you're going to use. She has the Rock Wall for delivery versus Occultation.
Mm-hmm.
She has positive charge, which you can spread out, I think, a little bit better than Silence of Death. And then she has the +2 defense feat, which I think is actually very strong with things like Flamebringers, especially with dash. So
yeah, I mean, I'll give you the feat is like, because sometimes like Thyra's feat is a threat extension that you don't actually need, and sometimes it's just like not a thing anymore. I'm going to disagree with positive charge, because I think it's really hard for Thyra to bullet a Jack in and then to get like positive charge on the things that you really want it on, like specifically with Flamebringers, because Flamebringers are larger bases. What are you going to bullet like into like your opponent?
Well, I think part of it is, what are you using the Flamebringers for? Are you using them for clearing infantry? Then I don't think you really need positive charge. If you're going to... I've actually used Flamebringers to clear off heavies, and at which point I think it's very easy to apply positive charge to the heavy.
Okay.
And I mean, it's within 3 inches, so it takes practice, but I don't think it's that big a deal. And the other thing is that you can just, positive charge your Jack, and now you're +4 to damage. Okay. Or if you're running in, the theme that everyone actually likes, and you're +6 to damage. You don't have to do it in Temple of the Flame. I just like Temple of the Flame. But, +2 defense on your monks. There's so many better things. Like, do you really care about your exemplars advancing 3 inches when one of them dies?
A little.
Like, maybe if Gibbs is attacking you.
a little, but also, like, you can bring monks in Temple?
No, I was switching themes to the popular theme.
I was like, wait.
No, but like Purist with +2 defense and positive charge.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude's a freaking dick. I see a lot of utility for her outside of Exemplar, and when you look at the reason why you're taking her in Exemplar, it seems like a bullshit reason.
Do you think that she would be better in this coming week if that her feat and battle plans were either designed in a way where it would be like way more interesting to take her in exemplars, like push her over the wall, like push her over the fence, I guess, that way, or maybe the other way around, where you're saying like we can change up these battle plans, we can change up these feats, so she's more dynamic and doesn't have to play with exemplars, and maybe like, I mean, both are buffs, I guess, but like, do you think she needs a buff? And if so, which direction would you like to see her in, I guess?
Well, honestly, if I was to make a well-rounded caster, then I would just yank Exemplar tag out of all of her abilities.
Okay.
And then you can literally play her in any of the themes, and I think she becomes significantly more interesting.
Yes, yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Like, if you took Exemplar out of all of these things, I think like I would have been very excited week 1 about her.
So I think it's kind of almost a wasted opportunity. I understand fluff rules. Yeah, she's an Exemplar, but you know what? So is fucking Intercessor Krios. Oh wait, no, he's not.
She's originally an Idrian.
Really?
Oh, you see? So
yes.
Was that on one of the dev chats?
I think that was in the initial post for the Exemplar CID.
Okay.
Let's see. What would I give her? Because, I mean, tough already, you have Krios. So, you know, hey, I'm running a blob of dudes. Hey, I'm running a blob of dudes who only one of them has tough. And you can always take Carvolo. So, what would I get? Overtake? Overtake would be interesting. Repetition 3 is actually pretty interesting already. I like that.
Bear in mind, too, I don't know if you've read this, but she was sold as, like, a very, very defensively oriented caster. And, like, her... I mean, that's what she was sold as.
Ooh. Battle plan set defense.
Maybe. So, like, here's what it reads. Cyrena is a battlefield commander of Idrian descent. Based on her rank of high exemplar, she should excel on the battlefield command and inspiration of her troops. She should be focused on defensive tactical play. Her feat, Vigilance of the Faithful, should allow the army to react to oncoming attacks, and themed both tactical acumen and divine intervention. Her battle plans should further reinforce those ideas. She is not a frontline fighter herself, but should certainly not be a weak combatant. Things to test. Cyrena brings a variety of defensive options. When combined with these options, is it too much for the opposing player to overcome? Is her utility overwhelming for the player? And does she support exemplar models well? So I think, like, from a design perspective, and this is the reason why I haven't been so excited about her, is that's what I was sold when I read that. And then I looked at her spell list and I looked at her card. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't think she does most of whatever the hell I just read.
So then wouldn't it have been a good idea then to play her to give that feedback? I'm just wondering.
Not after you give me 12-inch command with Harbinger. Like, why would I play anything else?
Fair point.
Key is to not play the things that are overpowered. You don't want them to know.
You already know what a Harvey's going to do. Already does with 10. You know, what do you think she was going to do with 12?
Like, you already knew what Tony was doing with 3. What do you think he's going to do with 4?
That's very true.
But I mean, to be fair, I'm actually very bad at like list building and like conceptually, like if you gave me a blank slate caster, like drafting spells, I guess, for that caster.
Mm-hmm.
Like given unless I have some sort of template, right? Unless I have some sort of template where like these are the spells that you get to choose from. What can you do? So like maybe spell draft wasn't the best example, but like if you had me design a caster, I think I would be very, very bad at designing a caster.
Well, the thing that's interesting about her is she technically checks all the boxes. She's got a speed buff. She's got a hit buff. She's got a damage buff. She has upkeep removal. She has a rock wall. You know, that's a box to check. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest things is I'd strip out the exemplar keywords and I'd change Desperate Mission into Battle Plan Set Defense. I actually really like that.
Okay.
All right, well...
That's all Justin. You came up with that one.
Good job, Justin. I'm proud of you. I don't care what Herman
Now
says.
put it on the actual CID forum.
Yeah. Actually get it up there so we can see some changes. Alright guys, but with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this cast. So I want to thank everybody for listening to another episode of Turn Extension.
Thank you guys for having me on again.
No problem.
Thank you for bringing actual content and thought.
Thank you for allowing me to not say barely anything the entire podcast.
You were busy making margaritas.
That's true.